Hi everyone, this is Fiona at Digital Landscapes, and today we are going to look at publishing in Vectorworks. So most of you, I'm sure all of you, know that if you go to File and Export, you will be able to export a PDF. But what Publish does, which is also on the File menu, is allow you to group together sets of drawings and export them all at the same time. So I've got quite a complex plan here. Well, the job is complex, mostly because there's one contractor doing part of the garden, another contractor doing another part of the garden, and then there's the front garden, which is a separate job. Obviously, there's drawings for the client as well. So I have set up a lot of sheet layers to cover me for this. So I've got an index page here. So I often do my entire presentation in Vectorworks. You can set up things like an index page. Obviously you can share them between different jobs. There's a visual in here of the project as well, or part of the project. There's also planting imagery. You know, it's super easy to line stuff up in Vectorworks. So to me, there's no need to be faffing about with InDesign or going into pages or anything when you can have everything just in one place. So I've got a couple of index sheets. I've got the design package, the construction package. I've used these kind of markers to split up the very long list of sheet layers. Probably one of the most sheet layers I've had for a while in a project like this. I've got planting, I've got the front garden all separated and all the construction stuff together. So I'll just quickly whiz through those various construction details, some imagery of the steps, some more setting out details. There's a groundworks plan just covering kind of what everything is. And obviously the client and the landscape contractors are going to get different information. So if I go to File and Publish, so I've got a couple of sets saved. So the way this works is you pick what drawings you want to publish. So I will do an example here, the design package, and we'll have that layout plan. So I'm going to hold down Command or Control on a PC. They're not going to get this one, they'll get this one. Maybe we'll give them the probably the lighting plan, sauna and pergola details, probably the groundworks plan, and then all of this planting stuff. And I just click this button here. So the one with the two arrows would add them all. This one just adds the ones that I've got selected. And those are now going to be published. So if I go publish, and it's going to ask me where I want to put them, I'm going to put them in a folder called drawings. Press open, and then it's just going to, by default, put them straight there. Just go into that folder. You'll see, so now that whole selection of drawings are there, and I had already opted to have them as separate sheets. So that's just all of these, all the planting, everything for this client, all in one folder where I specified. If I just do that again, I'll go File and Publish and go File Export Options. I can deselect putting them in a separate file. You can add other options here, a publishing log, creating a folder for each file type. I don't think you'd ever do that unless you're creating JPEGs as well. You can have a naming scheme, although the naming scheme is by default the sheet number and the sheet title. So I just have the sheet number coming up. So now, yes, I ticked that, didn't I? Now when I publish, because I deselected that separate files thing, I can now just choose one. Let's just call it master file for the sake of argument. Press OK. It will chug along, and then now you can see I've got everything in one file. So this is just a brilliant time-saving feature in Vectorworks. I have also got some sets saved, I should say. So I've got the construction package. I can shuffle these around as well, so they don't have to be in the order that they're listed here. Like anything in Vectorworks, when you hover over the number column, you can click and drag them up and down. Yeah, I'd shuffle around the order of them. I also have the design package, so that's a lot smaller for the client. And then I've got a front garden package. And again, for each of these, if I go to manage sets, I can fiddle around with the options, whether they are going to be separate files of one file, whether they're, you know, in their own folder with the file type and all that kind of thing. So yes, definitely recommend using these. It will save you lots of time. The way I look at my sheets for a project is they're my end product. So I quite often set sheets sheets up in advance. When I know what I'm doing, you know, a cross section of the paving, drainage detail, lighting plan, so on, setting out drawings, set them up in advance. You can set your publishing up in advance, and then you're only having to do that once and not, you know, continually having to scroll through that list. So yeah, if you've got any questions, then let us know in the comments.